This is the This is Africa show. My name is Sheyi Peters, and as you can see, we're at the Freedom Park. So join me as we find out what's actually going on in here. Huh? As you can see, this sculpture represents freedom. These are shackles that formerly held this metallic man down, and you can see that he has been freed. And that's what this show is actually all about. It's all about freedom, African freedom. We are free, but are we really free? We have to be really free. So let's go inside and find out what's happening. We're here with Mrs. Tola Ibe, who is the events manager of Freedom Park. Nice to meet you, madam.
It's a pleasure.
So, can you tell us a little bit more about this beautiful place?
Well, okay, Freedom Park. Now Freedom Park, but it used to be the old prison ground. The very first prison in Lagos State. And I think it was established in 1872.
In the 70s, he was evacuated. But what Mr. Lawson, the architect, has been able to do is to replicate what used to be where. So although he had been pulled down and the inmates had been taken away, he's designed and built up structures to represent what used to be where. What I say that the building you see by Broad Street used to be the records office, and now it's the museum. So it's still records. You still have records being kept there. It's where they used to take the records of the inmates before they assign them to cells. The building behind us here, the little cubicles you see there, were the actual sizes of the prison cells. That was actually block A.
Okay, you mean those little
Cubicles yes.
Those were the size.
Those were the actual sizes of the cells.
And 8 small, aren't they?
Yes, quite small. They weren't thinking of big guys like you.
You're the entertainment manager of the Freedom Park.
Yes.
Do you say what type of shows are held here and what type of place is it? Is it like a place for cultural events? I remember Yeni Kuti's birthday was celebrated here.
Yes.
So is it that type of Afrocentric and culturally sensitive events that you tend to host, or do you just tend to host anything?
We don't host any kind of event. We try as much as possible to have events around culture and art, and more of history and education, children. That's more like the kind of events we host here. We don't do weddings, we don't do like birthday parties now.
But what's going to be happening there now is that hopefully we'll be able to provide Wi-Fi, internet service, so you can come with your laptop and sit in the, so experience the cell have a table and a chair, have a drink in the park from our food outlets. The food outlets over there used to be where the kitchen area was.
So you stayed true to the form of the old prison, but now it's instead of it being a place of incarceration, now it's a place of freedom.
Of freedom. And there are very interesting themes that have helped to reinforce that over time. There's a particular story of a woman called Esther Johnson, who they were socialites in their rights in that time. She was Nigerian. She had a boyfriend who, Mr. Maurice Hall, who was British and worked with the railways. He was like working in Chevron, you know, in those days. She gave him some money to purchase a vehicle so that she can use for transportation purposes here at the time. He went back to England on vacation, got married to a white girl, and came back with stories. They got into an argument. He struck her. She stabbed him. She was also a sin mistress, and he died. You know what it would have meant to have killed a white man at the time? She was a black lady. So she was tried. She was sentenced to death. But because of the clamoring at the time for her freedom, because it was a crime of passion, the sentence of death was commuted to life imprisonment. And eventually, on the second anniversary of Nigeria's independence, Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe signed her release from this very prison. So I mean, she epitomizes that theme
of freedom.
Of freedom. And then a lot of our nationalists who were here, Nnamdi, Obafemi Awolowo.
A lot of famous prisoners.
Exactly. So we were working on history, as it were.
You said, can you mention the names of some of
them? Yes. Chief Obafemi Awolowo was here. Was in this prison. One of these cells. During the very popular treasonable felony trials. That means he was here with people like Alhaji Lateef Jakonde, the first executive governor of Lagos State, who were very lucky to have brought back to the prison on the 3rd of December last year. It was a very moving experience for him as well as for us. Because where you find people just playing there, the stage over there used to be the gallows. That's where they used to hang the condemned prisoners. So he said it was a place of sorrow and pain, and that to have transformed it into a place of beauty was a fantastic job that Mr. Lawson and his team had done.
Yes, we really must commend Mr. Lawson for this beautiful idea. But what's it like working here? What do you like? What do you like about your job?
It's the passion. It's the what you see on people's faces when they're working, especially first timers. It's unbelievable. It's the kick you get out of that you've been able to be a part of something that people feel this much about. And I think it's about time we start to tell our own stories to people. And again, when people listen to this story, I enjoy the tour part when I take people around and I show them the gallows. That's where they used to hang people. This is where their hospital used to be, and these were the actual sizes of the. You could see that sense of history, you know, that we were really never used to know, hitting people. And I think the museum, the beauty of it again is that the museum will be here. The museum will be here, and that in time, people will come and dig more, do more research, and would evolve and, you know ourselves better. So for me, that's a very interesting.
So there is a museum. The museum is fully stocked with prison artifacts.
As I speak with you, the museum is in the process of being curated, and by the grace of God, we're planning to have the very first exhibition shortly. We will get an invite to come and see what we're putting for, so that people can experience this place. We don't want people to look at this place as a facility. We want people to make it an experience.
Would you consider the Freedom Park to be a cultural institution, or how would you define it?
It's a marriage of sorts. Yes, we'll have some part of culture. Education is also key, because we want people to come and learn about what's happened here and what is out there that we need to bring in to understand ourselves a lot more. There's also the history of our culture, which is very germane to care some of the things you'll be seeing here. So we'll be having thematic events here.
More of culture and events.
And art. It's good you mentioned the children, because I noticed that there are many things around here that are children friendly. The little dolls and everything.
Yes, we had those dolls during the Black Heritage Festivals. It was done by Mr. Jimmy Shulanke for the children. So after the festival, we had to leave some of the dolls around for other kids to be able to have something to play with. Yes.
And the kids come here a lot?
A lot.
What's it like here? A typical day?
A typical day, mostly on Sundays. It's more like a family thing. We have families come here every Sunday. Parents with kids, everywhere filled with kids. But very soon, the park is trying to put stuff together to make it more interesting for the kids. Yeah, like have some games around and make it more fun for them.
I understand.
Yeah.
If you consider what had happened here, obviously that's historical. And we want to celebrate our culture here. As much as possible, we'll be having events here that celebrates us as a people. And then beyond that, the take from that it will be educational as well. So we'll have a lot of people coming to learn. We'll have a lot of students here who would have the opportunity to go to the museum to see how it's going to be put together, curated. So we'll learn about our past, our present, and the future.
So there's a museum on this ground. It's not just a park for relaxation. It's actually a museum on this ground. Yes, we're lucky to have a museum on this ground. And you're making history now too, so... That's great, that's great. Well, I want to ask you another question. Do you think this Freedom Park is a symbol of colonial oppression of Africans, or an eye-opener to show that we are now free from colonial oppression? Or what exactly is the message behind the Freedom Park? Okay, I think the original concept really was a park. You know, Lagosians hustle and bustle. I think Mr. Lawson had at the back of his mind that to have a space here, fantastic space here, where people can come and relax. I mean, it's almost unbelievable to have this land park in the middle in the heart of normally the Lagos. Developers will just get off and do that bank here or something like that. So in having that at the back of his mind, he said, okay, fine. Beyond the park, he was doing research and he found out that there's a lot of history that is embedded in this place. I already mentioned the people that were here: Pa Imodru, Obafemi Awolowo, Lateef Jakonde, Lakija, quite a number of them who nationalists in their own rights. I mean, those are things that would sensitize the average mind to want to find out what happened, what led to it, what events. Most of the things we heard from the British are what we know about ourselves. But that can give us an insight into, you know, and would help. The museum would be, by the grace of God, be a place where we can come back to dig more, have more research. We've brought it this far. It'll be very good to see people come again and take it further. So there'll be a mixture of a lot of things. Students will come, we'll celebrate ourselves here, and of course it's a historical ground. Babatunde Fashola on the 1st of October. So incidentally, we're going to have the first anniversary here. So did our local governor, did he have any solid, was this part of his idea, or was this in the works before he came on ground? Yeah, what the governor has done here is that, you know, it was Mr. Lawson's concept, but it's a Lagos State funded project. So the governor has supported this, all 13 of this, and as you can see, a lot of other projects that's also been part of here. For the commissioning, we have a plaque. Yeah, which shows you exactly what. Yeah, I was saying that the female section of the prisons, so it is now the amphitheater, so people can have live presentations, a band, you know, just come sit out, all of that place. You can sit
an amazing large number of people.
This is like, okay, you sit down here.
Yeah, yes, and then you can access the stage.
And I noticed you guys have some geese now.
Yeah, there are the geese that go into the pond, and then there are some fish as well.
Okay, so people come here to perform plays?
Yes, live presentation, you know, like the concept of the amphitheater. People come and hang out here, you know, then people sit here. We had an international film documentary festival.
Okay.
That was, yes, it was here, and people was screened here.
Well, do you people, like, if an artist wants to present a play here, you come to the management and...
Yes, we can talk terms. It's part of...
terms, okay.
Yeah, we
so
can talk.
You can rent the space out for little shows?
Hopefully, yes. Yes, it's doable. Once we know what you want to do, we'll position in such a way that we can support what you want to do.
It really is a beautiful place, I have to say. It's really... the creative aspect of it, who was in charge of the ideas? Was it only Mr. Lawson or...
It's interesting. The initial thing was that there was a group registered. It was called the CIA. It was called the Creative Intelligence Agency.
Okay.
So there were students and some architects. So Mr. Lawson and his colleagues, realizing that there's a difference between practical and theory, got these students, did presentations to them, and then the bridge is not an object. What would you do to enhance Lagos? So his idea, he knew this place had always been free. So, and that Lagos people are just always running around, nobody's relaxing. So he just said it would be lovely to have a park, to be free from all of this, a place where, and the rest is history. He met with the governor, did a presentation, yeah? And created this aquatic life. We met that well. Yeah, one of the things we met here was the well. Very possible, very possible. That well. And another thing one must not leave out, essentially, are the walls. It was said that the walls, the only thing that is still standing, you know, from way back. Yes, it was said that these bricks were imported when this place was refurbished at a cost of £16,000. And at the same time, the total allocation for education in Lagos colony was a paltry £700. So £700 for education for the whole of Lagos colony, and £16,000 to import bricks for prison walls.
You can see that
the priorities
didn't start with Nigerian
I don't know about
I think somebody must have thought that. But how can you import bricks to prison people for £17,000 and then use only £600 for the education of our grandfathers?
No, their priorities were just clear. I knew they had priorities and they worked towards
that tells it all. I think it's fine. And this wall doesn't even look so high. I'm sure.
No, it's been filled up. No, it's been filled up so high. If you went into the museum, if it was opened, I'll show you old photographs of the walls. Which, yes, and if you climbed up to that place and look down, it gives you a lot more idea of how high up, if you could climb and look down. And don't forget that the grounds to get the roads would have been filled even, you know, so they were quite high, quite high. Quite high, and it was initially in the middle of nowhere, 1870. But it was.
That's quite a long time.
Yeah, in the middle of nowhere. But you also had said something about whether it was a colonial tool. Very much so. Yeah.
If it is true.
If it is true that this place was established in 1872, and Lagos was ceded to the British in 1862, just 10 years intervals. It's not impossible that this was a tool of oppression of some sort. People who wanted to agitate for their whatever rights, what they believed in, well, came and they were probably dumped here.
Something like what's going on in countries like Libya and Syria today.
We need to rediscover ourselves. We need to know ourselves, tell our own stories, and find out what exactly happened different from what we are being told by somebody else. Nobody can tell your own story better than you can. Nobody.
Wow, it's wonderful.
The cells. This was block A from the original plan of the prison that Mr. Lawson got. This was the exact position of plan A.
Okay, so this was the cell
block. Cell blocks. Yeah.
So probably it would have been, of course now it's like this.
Yeah, it was built up higher than this.
There would have been walls here, I guess.
Yes, yes. All of that later, so that people can actually see what exactly used to be. We'll do one up, so that people can experience that as well.
Wow, this is quite tiny. There's no room to. There's even no room to. As in, just imagine now. Just imagine.
Yeah, not in Sheraton.
I'm locked up, and this is all the space I have. I can't
you can't spread your hand. You can't yawn in the morning and feel comfortable.
Man, people have suffered. And Papa Olo was inside one of
Yes, yes. I like Japan. Pa Imodu, like I said. Other nationalists were here for us. So it's a place we need to come with a lot of respect.
Yes, you have
and
to really appreciate
respect
our
it.
freedom.
It's not a place for our usual parties. And yes, we'll have, but we need to come and know that this is a place that we need to have sober reflections about.
Because we have to appreciate, viewers, our freedom. Our freedom is something that some people have suffered. They suffered to win for us. Mandela slept in a cell like this, even though he's not a Nigerian, but this is an African-oriented show. He suffered and for the freedom of his people. So let us not underestimate, or let us appreciate our freedom and fight for greater freedom for the upcoming generation. That's what we're trying to say here. Just look at this place, man. Just imagine being locked up here for just a day, not to talk of months or years. It's quite terrible. So please, you are free now. You are free to wear your jeans and do what you like. So think of the next generation so that you can fight for their freedom as
well. I wanna be free from all this politics. I wanna be free from all these politicians. I wanna be free from all these corrupt monsters. We want to chop man. Myself, why? Just because fella die, that's why them they try to confuse I and everybody mind. I wanna be free from all these politics. I wanna be free from all these politicians. I wanna be free from all these corrupt monsters. We want to chop man. The king is dead, Madam Kukuma kill the king. For political reasons, them no fit talk as it be. Oh yeah, back to politics, them start to dribble and scheme for the same corruption and greed. No plan for you and me. All these politics.
I'm here with my friend Mr. Doyin Wallace.
Exactly.
So can you tell us how long have you been coming here today?
Yeah, I've been coming around, let's say it's going to 6 months now. 6 months.
What do you think about this place? You like this place?
Yeah, it's cozy, it's relaxing, and most times if I'm in my vacation in the country, I always like Freedom Park.
Well, I don't know. I just have to thank you so much and commend you on the good work you guys are doing here at the Freedom Park. You know, this is the This Is Africa show, and it's all about Africa and making us feel proud of ourselves. So, how do you think this place compares with other places in the world? Do you think that anybody should feel that Africa is not up to the rest of the world, looking at a place as beautiful as this?
Well, I guess there has not been anybody that has been here and hasn't been wowed about this place. Even the people that have traveled world all over, and they've been here. Even foreigners, tourists, they've been here and they've been wowed by what they've seen here. So I think it's compared to any other tourist site or any other park in the world.
That's all
Yes.
it takes. So we just have to be more proud of what we have.
Exactly.
The Freedom Park is a place that you need to see.
Yes.
So come down here to Broad Street and check it out.
Politics, them start to dribble and
Oh,
scheme
sweaty.
for the same corruption and greed.
Jojo,
No
okay.
plan
Ah,
for you.
your mic.
From all these politics, from all these politicians, from all these corrupt monsters, we want to chop them. When we they sleep, they meet to plan their evil strategies to control our resources. African leaders and their foreign contacts.